Hello and welcome to the Vector Garden YouTube channel. In this video we're going to take a look at things that can happen when you pick up fills or strokes with the eyedropper tool, specifically when you want to apply that to groups. Now you know how that works. You select an object, it has a fill and a stroke, and you take the eyedropper tool and click on another object that has a different fill and stroke, and then you pick that up and it gets applied. Just like that. Now when you select a group, you see this is a group, and then you do the same. Take the eyedropper tool and click on an object, then it sometimes doesn't work. You see it got applied, but the object does not show it. There's no stroke, but the object has a stroke. So what's happening here? You might have heard that when you press the Shift key while picking up that color from the other object, then it works. So let's go to Undo and hold down the Shift key and click on that object. But still, this looks differently, but it still does not work. So we have a red fill and the stroke has stayed the same, but we do not see the red fill. So what's happening here? To investigate, what we need to do is open the Appearance panel. So Window Appearance, it's not sufficient to see the appearance in the properties. So in here, we do not see enough in here. So we need the Appearance panel, the dedicated one. And you see we have the same, this stroke and this fill, but in between there is this contents. So what's that? What's happening here? Let's undo this again. So we go to Edit, Undo Eyedropper, and you see this looks kind of weird. So it will be even weirder when, as a comparison, you select this object. This looks exactly the same as the previous one. So I'm just going to select this, and you see the Appearance panel looked completely different. So now we have a group and we just have the contents. So the group does not have its own appearance. And now what we're going to do, I'm going to get this one and apply the stroke and the fill to it. So, and now we're going to move these two down here. So we have the other objects in order to pick something up. Let's first take a look at what this content is. So I'm going to open the Layers panel because the Layers panel shows us the structure of the file. So let's go in here. And then this is our selected group. And you see there are those circles in it. And what you can also see, they all have this empty target circle. So they don't have any special appearances. None of them. Not the group itself and not those ellipses. They have standard fills and strokes. So now what we're going to do is take the eyedropper tool, and you see currently the fill is focused, the stroke is not. So now I hold down the Shift key and press on this circle, and you see now it works correctly as intended. So that red fill got picked up and it got applied to that fill of the object because that was focused, and now they all look like they should look. And in the Appearance panel we have no appearance on the group. But how did that appearance even come into existence? I'm just going to have that selected. And now let's take the eyedropper tool and just click on this object. So let's take a look at it first. So this is that path. and it has a stroke and a fill, nothing special. Again, you can see that in the Layers panel, it has nothing special, just a stroke and a fill. And I'm selecting this group. And now let's take the eyedropper tool and click on that object. And you see something different happened here. So the group was focused in this instance, and since we didn't press the Shift key, that stroke and fill didn't get pushed through to the objects themselves, but the group received them. So the first time when you have a group selected and use the eyedropper tool to pick up something, then this happens. And if you do not undo now, then this will stay. And this will cause the group to behave in a non-desirable way. Let's call it like that. What you also see is something special happened here. You see the stroke got applied in front of the contents. So these are the contents, so these are the fills and strokes of the objects inside the group. And the fill got applied behind them. So if we want to change the stroke, we can do that. So I'm going to focus that stroke now. And let's again take the eyedropper tool and hold down the Shift key and click on this red object. And you see we can pick up a different stroke, but we cannot pick up a different fill. So the next thing is, how do we get rid of this? How do we get rid of these strokes and fills? These extra ones on the group that we do not want. Now, of course, we can just release the group. Go to Object, Ungroup, and then you see when the group doesn't exist anymore, then also its appearances, its stroke and fills, do not exist anymore. And we have just the objects that we then need to group again. So then you need to go to Group, and then you have the group, and everything is fine. Let's do that. And you see you get a group that doesn't have its own strokes or fills. But maybe that would be very complicated to do. So what you can then do, let's first undo. I'm going to undo once and twice, so we have the situation from before. When you want to keep the group but still get rid of those strokes and fills, you can take the Appearance panel and then get rid of them. Like this. And then you have also reset this, and then you can start from scratch with this group. And remember to press the Shift key.